What's good, everybody? RJ Shelton here, back with another Midwest recap. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Let's hop right into it. Packers, obviously, they were on their bye week. They go ahead and face the Bears this week in Chicago. That one is at Soldier Field. That is a noon game. Big game for the Packers. Got to go ahead um, and get back on track in regards to what happened last weekend. This is a big game. We got to go ahead and do what needs to be done for us to move in the right direction towards playoffs. We saw what the Bears did this past weekend. If they're playing like this, we should be able to go ahead and win by a couple scores. But you never know. You don't know what you're going to get with the Packers. But hopefully, we go in there and take care of business. Then moving on over to Badger football, they were on a bye as well. They faced the Oregon Ducks at home in Camp Randall. Oregon Ducks are ranked number 1 in the nation. So that should be a tough one. High-powered offense. Badgers do play well at home. This is definitely a good game for them to go ahead and get back on track. Do I think that they win this game? I don't know. If you want my honest opinion, probably not. But you never know. I'll be optimistic this one. But hopefully they play them tough and give themselves an opportunity to win the game. And then moving on over to the Milwaukee Bucks, it's been a tough season. Just to go ahead and rattle off some losses here, which is always not a good thing to go ahead and say. Beginning of November, they faced the Cavaliers, lost that one in a tight one, 114 to 113, and played them again, lost to them 114 to 116. Then we got one against the Jazz. Both teams were the worst team in the NBA, so thank God we're not at least the worst team. They went in and won that one 123 to 100. And then we faced the Knicks. This was this past Friday. We got killed in New York at Madison Square Garden. It was 116 to 94. And then yesterday we went ahead and faced the Celtics. We went ahead and lost to them 113 to 107. I'm going to say this right now. They got this NBA Cup going on, obviously group stages. We have got to go ahead and see some dramatic changes in regards to who we are. We still haven't found an identity of who we really are trying to be. Obviously, we have Giannis. Obviously, we have Dame, and those are our main guys. But we got to have a lot of role guys step up. AJ Green playing very well. A couple guys as well that, in the Celtics game that looked promising. Bobby Portis played well. I've been hard on him in regards of him not doing what he needs to do. Prince has been playing very well. As of yesterday, 9 points, 9 rebounds. Brooke Lopez, he can't be over 7 foot. You only have 1 rebound and 6 points. That's just unacceptable. We've been seeing that for years from him, the inconsistency. After he went ahead and contributed for us winning a championship back in 2019, 2020 during COVID, he has been nothing of that sense. So hopefully he goes ahead and gets it squared away within this group stage. Maybe they play a little bit more, or he plays a little bit more up to par due to playing for a trophy or whatever it is. And then Rollins, I forget if it was either Rollins or I think it is Rollins, but there was just one play that stuck out to me on the defensive end where he obviously blocked somebody, but he's got to contribute as well. He didn't even have any points. Connaughton had 7. Jackson Jr. only had 1 point, but he's really in there mainly for, I would say, defense, but gives us a spark. All in all, Bucks are 2-8. This is going to be a very, very long season the way it's looking at it. Yes, Chris Middleton is out. We definitely need him to go ahead and come back, but he's going to be out for 40 games. We kind of already know what the Bucks are looking like right now, but we will solidify what the Bucks will be in these next, I would say, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 10 games. First game in this group stage, they're playing the Raptors. And then Wednesday, they face the Pistons. And then Saturday, they face the Hornets. And then, obviously, the next week, they face the Rockets. But these 3 games right here, we have got to go 3-0. If we don't go 3-0 these games, I might not ever watch a Bucks game until, end of February when it maybe matters. But we have got to go ahead and go 3-0 against the Raptors, against the Pistons, and against the Hornets. There should be no rhyme or reason why we lose to those 3 teams. But we shall see. We just got to have, contribute bench. We got to have coaches Doc Rivers, Darvin Ham, all those guys have got to go ahead and kind of really hone in on what we're going to do motion-wise on offense, what we're doing on defense. So hopefully we'll see that. All we can do is hope and pray. Then moving on over to the Minnesota area, Minnesota Vikings went ahead and won 12-7. Sam Darnold was 24 of 38 from the field, 240 yards throwing, 3 interceptions, which is not good. You never want to turn the ball over, especially at the quarterback position. That's no bueno. Aaron Jones had 17 carries for 88 yards. TJ Hawkinson had 8 receptions for 72. This was a grinded game for the Vikings. All games are going to be tough in the NFL. And everyone's like, oh, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars, but it's the same competition. It's still the best 32 guys on that field for each team, and it's the highest of highs. So you can't go into a game thinking you can just walk over a team. And that was a prime example right here for the Vikings. Kind of some stats that stand out to me. Even though Minnesota had the ball for a long time, I think their possession, they had the ball for over 42 minutes, which is crazy, and you only had 12 points. So you should at least have had over 27 or even more than that if you have the ball for that long of time. But looking at the big stat here, 87 yards passing and 56 yards rushing for a total of 143 yards. Defense is still playing very well. Brian Flores is got it. Those guys playing at a very high level. I feel like I'm saying that every single week. He knows his personnel. He knows what to do when obviously the offense isn't going, or what he needs to do to go ahead and continue to have pressure. I mean, they were all over the place. So grinded game for the Vikings, but you go ahead and they come out and won that one. They are 7-2. They go ahead and face let's see here. They face the Titans in Tennessee. That is a noon game. Gopher football, tough loss against Rutgers. I thought this was going to be a easy win for them. Completely wrong on that. They lost 26-19. Max Brosmer was 27 of 45 for 262 yards and 1 touchdown. Darius Taylor had 10 carries for 20 yards and a touchdown. And let me see here. And Grease had 8 receptions for 73 yards. Kind of the turning point was later in that third quarter. I think the Gophers were making a drive on Scarlet Knights, on their own 15 to 20 yard line. Brosmer had threw to a tight end. He had fumbled. Then obviously the Scarlet Knights got that on the recovery, and then they went ahead and ran the ball in for a touchdown. Then the Gophers got the ball again. I don't know if it was a turnover or what it had maybe, but then they went ahead and got a safety. So they just got caught in tough situations to go ahead and not come out on the good end of things. This is kind of a bad loss for them, 6-4. Still obviously going to a bowl game, but you don't want to go ahead and lose to a team that you should have won. Just got to move on and go ahead and get ready to play Penn State. That's going to be a big one. They're ranked 4th. That is going to be in Minneapolis. That is still to be determined on what the time is. I think that'll definitely be probably a primetime game. I would either say like 6:30, maybe 3:25, but that should be a good matchup. If you go ahead and play then you did this Rutgers game when you went to Illinois, played them very well. They've played well at home. They went ahead and beat, Maryland 23-48. They went ahead and had USC come in, who was highly ranked, beat them 24-17. They can get got. So if they go ahead and play well at home like they normally do, you're definitely going to be in a position to win. If you want my honest opinion, Penn State's playing very well, but they did come off a loss against Ohio State, and I think they had a bye before this. So, you got to be ready. But I think this is definitely going to be a good game, and I think the Gophers definitely have a shot at winning this one. And then moving on over to the Timberwolves, they went ahead and lost to Miami Heat last night, 94-95. As I mentioned earlier, with the Bucks with the NBA Cup or group play, or however you want to go ahead and call it, they go ahead and start their group stage They face the Trailblazers today, and then Wednesday they face the Trailblazers again. And then their group stage, they go ahead and face the Kings on Friday. So that Kings game, I think they'll take care of the Portland Trailblazers. Trailblazers are god awful, like the Bucks, unfortunately. But that Friday game should definitely be good. And then Sunday they face the Suns. So 4 games there that are definitely going to be fun to watch, or 2, going to be fun to watch. The Kings and the Suns. And then moving on over to the Illinois area, the Bears have went ahead and lost to the New England Patriots 19-3. Caleb Williams was 16 of 30 from the field, 120 yards throwing. Swift had 16 carries for 59 yards. And Keenan Allen had 5 receptions for 44. Looking at this here from a total team offensive perspective, they only had 142 yards, which is god awful to a 3-7 New England Patriots team. They couldn't get anything going on the offensive end. That's the only time that I'll ever watch a Bears game is if, the Packers aren't on, and being Midwest, that's the only thing that comes on when they were on Fox. But if you look at this, on third downs, they were 1 of 14. Fourth downs, they were 2 of 4. They had 9 total sacks allowed. And when you give up 9 total sacks, offensive line is nowhere to be found. And I've said this since week 1 that this was going to be the Achilles heel for the Chicago Bears. And it's clearly looking like it. I mean, if you can't hold a pocket in the NFL, let alone hold a pocket against a 3-7 New England Patriots team, we got problems. And I think the frustration with Caleb Williams, with the OC, with the head coach, with DJ Moore, with guys around him. DJ Moore is getting frustrated in regards of not maybe getting the football, or, him maybe not even being in the game plan as much. But this all comes down, when I look at things like this on coaching, I mean, if you don't have a game plan to where you make it easy for Caleb Williams, but also it's on him as well. He is holding the football too long. He's got to get rid of it. I mean, I know he's trying to stay in there and look for the big play, but you need to go ahead and take checkdowns. Go ahead and dump it off to your running back, or go ahead and, as an offensive coordinator, make a quick game. Maybe go no huddle. When they were going no huddle against the Texans, when they did play them, that's where he was more comfortable. Like, you got to go ahead and be accommodated to who you have under center. If you're not doing that, that's just only going to hurt your team. And I think Caleb Williams is better no huddle, especially right now, than sitting back and directing. He is still a rookie. He's still going to go ahead and make mistakes. He's still learning how to be an NFL quarterback. So I think if you really look at it from a Bears perspective, they need to go more no huddle. They need to go more up tempo to go ahead and get the rhythm of Caleb Williams continuing throughout the whole game, and not having him hold on to ball for 10, 12 seconds. It's just, you can't do that, because you're just going to only hurt yourself. So they do face the Packers. As I mentioned earlier in this episode, that one is at noon. Illinois is coming off their bye week. They face Michigan State. That is a 1:30 game. That one is in Champaign. The Chicago Bulls, they are facing the Knicks on Wednesday, and then the Cavaliers to start their NBA Cup group stage on Friday. And then Sunday they face the Rockets. And then last but not least, my Michigan area, great game, Sunday night game. Lions went ahead and beat the Houston Texans 26-23. Jared Goff was 15 of 30 from the field, 240 yards throwing, and 2 touchdowns with 5 interceptions. Couldn't even tell you the last time a quarterback in my lifetime threw for 5 interceptions. This might be the first time I've ever seen that from an NFL quarterback. Jahmyr Gibbs had 19 carries for 71 yards. Sam Laporta had 3 receptions for 66 yards and a touchdown. J-Mo was back. Williams, he had 3 catches for 53 yards, had a couple nice 50-50 grabs. It's always good to have him back in the mix, because that makes this team, as the Lions, more dangerous and have more weapons. Gibbs also had 2 carries for 37 yards. Montgomery had 12 carries for 32 for rushing and a touchdown. And Amon St. Brown had 6 receptions for 60 yards. If I were to go ahead and tell you within the second half that, okay, yeah, that the Lions are going to come back and win this game, I'd be like, yeah, there's no way. Um, they were down 23-7 going into halftime. And then they come back, put up 6 in the third quarter, put 13 up in the fourth, and their defense held the Texans at home to where they didn't even score a single point in the second half. That's a championship team. That's a team to where they can go through any situation in the game, be down, be up, have your quarterback throw for 5 interceptions, not being able to move the football, but then you come out in the second half and you go ahead and put on a masterpiece to go ahead and put yourself in a position for your kicker to go ahead and win you the ball game. Uh, I'll continue to say this. This is the best team in the NFL. Yeah, you have the Chiefs, but they're not doing what the Detroit Lions are doing. They're not going ahead and being put in either situations to where they go ahead and come out and dominate a football team, or they are down and then come back and show resilience to go ahead and win. Yeah, I know the Chiefs go ahead and, granted they do make plays, don't get me wrong. We all saw the game where they blocked the punt. But if we were to go ahead and the Super Bowl started today, I'm taking the Detroit Lions. Yes, I know the Patrick Mahomes effect. Yes, I know they got Andy Reid. Yes, I know they got this, that, and the third. But what the Detroit Lions are displaying, being, I would say, probably right now the best division in the NFC North. Yeah, okay, they played some teams in the AFC South that weren't good. But, I mean, the Chiefs just played the Broncos, who has a rookie quarterback and really isn't a sound football team or a team that can threaten anybody. They went ahead and went down the wire with them. Texans, I would take the Texans over the Broncos. We're seeing that this team can go ahead and handle any situation that's thrown at them. They say grit, or we just want to be gritty, not gritty, grit, tough. We're going to come out here and we're going to play 48 minutes of football, or however long football is in the NFL. We're going to go ahead and play all the way until the whistle's done, all the way until the fourth quarter when they go ahead and strike zero. We always have the belief that we're going to go ahead and win this football game, and it clearly shows. So, shout out to Dan Campbell and his Detroit Lions. They're playing well, and my analogy will still stay the same. They are the best team in the NFL. Moving on. Before I go, moving on here, they face the Jaguars back in Detroit. So they will be back at Ford Field playing the Jags. Pistons. They go ahead and start their NBA Cup as well. They face the Heat today they face them on Tuesday. I always get it mixed up. I post this on Tuesdays, so I'm getting myself confused. Crazy me. They do face the Heat at 6 p.m., and then they go ahead and face the Bucks on Wednesday, and then they go back to their group stage and face the Raptors on Friday at 6 p.m., and then Sunday they go ahead and face the Washington Wizards. 4-7, 4 wins right now. I mean, they are playing better. Granted, they went and lost to the Houston Rockets last night, or on Sunday, excuse me. Close game, though. If you look at the games that I've watched, I've seen that they're being competitive, obviously, till the end of the game. You obviously got to finish a couple situations and to put yourself to go ahead and win. But their players are playing well. I mean, Cade Cunningham being the vocal leader there, playing good. I mean, he had 26, 8, 9. And I think the week before he was almost flirting with a triple-double. He's leading these guys. These guys are behind him 110%. So I think the Pistons are going to shock a little bit more people than, expected or this season or what they're going to go ahead and go towards. Because I think they're going to be a good ball club. They're only going to get better throughout this season. And I think they're definitely be a team to watch out for in this NBA Cup because they're going to just play. They're young. They get up and down the floor. You have a leader in Cade Cunningham. You have pieces around him. You got veterans on there that are, Tim Hardaway Jr. You got Malik Beasley, who's been a part of championship teams. So he's going to go ahead and give his knowledge, both those guys. So I think the Pistons are going to do well. I think the Pistons are going to have a good year this year. But I also think they're going to have a pretty good NBA Cup. And don't be surprised if they go ahead and get deep in in that playoff per se for the NBA Cup. And then last but not least here, before we go ahead and take you out, Michigan State plays Illinois. I already mentioned that earlier for all my Chicago people that I had went over, but Michigan State plays them. Another test. Illinois is already, I would say, bowl eligible, but this is a huge week for Michigan State. They got to go ahead and win this game, and then they got to win the next two. But they got to go ahead and go to Illinois and take care of business and be ready to compete on both ends. Illinois is a good football team. You got to go ahead and make plays on third down. Got to be able to run the ball for over 100 yards. Quarterback's going to have to go ahead, even if Childs is playing or not, whoever's in there has to go ahead and make the right reads to go ahead and keep the offense on the field to score points. Defense has to go ahead and get off on third downs, create pressure from D-line, which they've been doing all year. So that should be a good game, and I'm going to go ahead and be excited to watch that one. So with that being said, you guys have a wonderful week. We will see you soon. Got my team going ahead and going over respected states. So we'll see you later. Peace.